like. May the force be with us.
See this. Oh, got it. It's being live streamed. Well, that's a
live
sign.
stream. That's a bit scary. Look, it's 8:30. We actually did this on time.
This is crazy,
What?
Cam, and it's actually saying the meeting is now live on YouTube. So hello to the early adopters. Hello to everyone who's already. This is the preamble before we kick off. We should both dance, Cam. That would really stop people watching.
How many people are watching?
I don't know. I haven't got it. Here we go. I do have a little bell.
Ding-a-ling-a-ling. Why are we doing it live? It's so bloody hard.
I don't know.
Why couldn't we just record this and then? Right. We'll give it a minute or so.
We'll give it a minute. It's still not telling me whether we're live or not. I can't see it.
It is. It popped up live on mine.
Yes, I can see that, but I can't see it on YouTube yet.
Right.
I'm sure it's
coming. See live. There's 6 people watching apparently.
Nice.
If I go in there though, it plays the sound through my head.
Oh, I can see now. Yes.
Yeah.
I can see us now.
There's probably going to be some comments on there. You'll have to monitor the comments.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Well, I like it. What should we start this shit show?
Probably. Hang on one sec. I'm just going to get my act together here.
Right.
We are live.
We are such a finely tuned machine.
We are. I mean, after 99 episodes,
you'd think we'd get our shit together, wouldn't you?
Hello, everyone, and welcome down to episode number 100.
Oh, you actually brought it.
The Down South Photo Show with me, Brendan Waits, here in Ocean Grove, Victoria, Australia, and the dude on the other screen or in your other ear. Well, I don't know, but this will go up on the podcast at some point. If you are listening to the show not live, it's Cam Blake in Hobart, Tasmania, Australia. Hello, Cameron.
Good. I've lost fingers. I felt like the guy on the river the other day. Hello, everyone. I can't believe you bought a party popper thing. That's pretty funny.
Party poppers are the go.
Now, before we get started, this is a massive episode, so we'll get a few things out the way first. But
it is
how good has our preparation been for this 100th episode?
So about half an hour ago, I realized I had no idea what I was doing and let Mr. Blake know that he's basically doing it all. So thanks, Cam.
Yeah, and we still don't know what we're doing.
Not really.
It's been a shit show. It's not live on Facebook, anyone. So if you're watching this on Facebook, something's terribly gone wrong.
That's right.
Because it's not going there, even though we thought we could dual stream.
Something like that.
We have 20 odd people watching. That's a pretty good effort so far.
That is very good. I'm going to see if I can get because there'll probably be people with questions and stuff.
Yes,
I see. Okay, hello. All right, I've got it. Here we go.
So please,
Praveen Shankum, good day, boys. Craig Murphy, evening. Stephen Down, hi from Northcote. Stephen, hello. Stephen was one of the early shout outs that I had to give today because Steve ordered a nice canvas print through Ocean Grove Camera and Photo today.
Jeez.
So g'day, Steve. Nice to have you aboard.
Look at us go. We've already dropped watches already. People are like, it's boring.
Yeah, who are these guys?
Right.
And it would be remiss of me not to mention Mel.
Who's Mel?
Straight off the top of the show, because Cam, cheers to a 100th episode.
Cheers. Thank you. Thanks,
cheers,
Mel, for the beer.
Thanks for the beers which were delivered today. That was
the delivery.
Awesome, actually.
That's a next step up, really, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, thank you, Mel, and we'll go through some beer donations later on. Yes, good drop. We'll go through some beer donations later because there's been quite a few. So there's a fair chance we may be shit-faced by the end of this if we start drinking all the beers that we've been given.
If I've got anything to do with it. So look, right off the top of the show, I think it would be poignant of me to thank everyone for getting us to 100 episodes. I mean, clearly without you guys, we don't do this. So because it'd be a bit weird if Cam and I were the only 2 people watching it. But
well, sometimes I think it is.
Yeah, that's right. Apparently, we've got some people out there that actually don't mind what we talk about.
Yes,
so,
it's pretty amazing.
It is, and I don't. Thank you's not strong enough. I mean, we're really, really chuffed that the show has got to where it's got.
I know what we should do.
What should we
buy
do,
all of our 699 subscribers a beer?
Yes, we should absolutely.
Yep.
Where are we going to do that?
We're not. That's going to cost a fortune, and we don't have a budget for that.
And 699 subscribers on YouTube. Can you believe it? One more, and we're at 700 subscribers on episode 100. So surely
someone's watching out there who's not a subscriber.
Right. So you got
to stop being lazy.
That's right. Get on there, and we will know at some point if someone ticks over 700 subs.
Yeah, absolutely.
And right off the top, Cam, I'd like to thank you for being my partner in crime over the last couple of years we've put the Down South Photo Show out. It's been quite a ride.
It has, and I thank you back as well. Obviously, we've known each other a lot longer than 100 episodes, but if you said to me 20 years ago, whenever we met, saying, hey, in 20 years' time, you're doing a podcast and you'll get 100 episodes, I would have laughed you out of the front door of Camera House.
And actually, the first thing you would have said was, what the hell's a podcast? But
that's true. That's right. What's a podcast? What, we're going to live in a pod? No, it's been great fun. And it doesn't, like I was thinking the other day, like 100 episodes is a lot, but it doesn't sort of feel like 100 episodes. But, if we average out, say, 45 minutes to an hour, that's a lot of hours talking to each other.
Yeah, especially when you and I are prone to dropping the F-bomb on an episode, and I've got to comb through the whole episode.
You know what? I think if we've only done a couple of F-bombs on the 100 episodes, considering the amount of F-bombs you and I have probably dropped in our lifetime together, it's an absolute miracle that this hasn't been a lot more. Maybe from going forward, we said we're going to look at maybe not revamping it, but we're going to revisit a few things. Maybe we just let loose for the next few episodes where
that's right. We could
language. As you know, I've just got back from the Franklin River.
Yes.
And it did not take long for the language to go into the gutter real quick.
No. Why is that always the case on any of your trips, Cameron?
It's not me. I'm telling you now.
What's the common denominator here?
It's not me. I try so hard to hold everything back, but there's always someone in the group who drops an F or a C or something like that, and you're like, oh, rightio, we're there. But I don't join in as much as you might think I do. I try and stay quite professional. Off the top, I will apologise because I'm a little bit of a head cold and a bit snotty and a bit coffee from my little trip. So,
folks, you know what he didn't do? He didn't cancel. He's here.
I'm here. I did. I cancelled last night because you wanted to do it last night.
We were going to do it last night, but that's okay. You're here now, so I'm
here now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Couple of other shout outs while we're going. I'd like to say a big hi to Kenny from Sheffield in England, who reached out to us during the week and said, I'm a new listener from England, loving the show so far. So I said we'd give him a shout out. And
should we advise Kenny to go watch the movie Kenny?
Yeah, maybe.
Shane Jacobson. Isn't that a guy about a guy that cleans shitters?
Yeah, and his parents live in Ocean Grove.
Do they really?
In the movie, not Shane Jacobson's parents, but in the movie.
I've never seen it.
His dad's got a caravan at the Ocean Grove Caravan Park.
Really? That's hilarious. Sheffield, England, that's a long way from where we are. That's awesome.
Yep, it's literally on the other side of the planet and everything.
We're global.
Now, you did just touch on a little topic there. You've had a week in a raft.
Yes, I have had a week. I've had a week in a raft. I haven't told you the full story of anything.
I haven't had time to scratch myself over the last few days since you've been back, and we haven't really caught up as much as we possibly could have. So no. I'm fascinated to know how it went and how the photography went, etc.
It went pretty well. It was a fairly non-eventful trip in regards to people out of boats and wild rivers and crazy water. The water level was quite good the whole way, so we had pretty nice flow the whole way and nothing too crazy. One person came out of the boat out of the whole trip in one of the rapids, so that's pretty good. 2 people got gastro along the way.
Ooh.
Not really where you want to go get gastro.
Not great.
No, considering on the Franklin you don't have a toilet that you sit on. You literally do your business in a small freezer bag.
Yeah.
So when you've got gastro, that makes things a little bit trickier. And I'm happy to say that I was the second person to get gastro on the way down the river. And I was quite unwell one morning before we got going on the rapids. If I can say anything about luck, I wasn't so much gastro from the bottom exit. It was more coming out the top exit, which is why I've got a sore throat. And I was a few people on the trip said they hadn't heard sounds come out of a person like that for some time. But it was all right. You know, shit happens. Well, literally. It did happen. But no, apart from that, it all went really well. We had a great trip. We got some good photos. We had really nice weather pretty much until the second last day. We had some great guests. Everyone got on really well. We had the same two guides from last year. Big shout out to Max and Amy if they're watching. Absolute legends, and a barrel of laughs. Like, they just joined. They went straight to the gutter with us pretty much.
Yep.
So a great trip. I did say before this trip, it's probably the last one I do. But every time you go down there, it's one of those places where you just leave thousands of photos and you just want to keep going back.
Yeah.
So who knows? Watch this space. We might go down again and see what happens.
Yeah. Can I just give a quick shout out to Rod Little from Wales, who has tuned in live. So
right, just now.
We global.
What time is it in Wales?
I don't know, but it's like, I don't know. Oh, it'd be evening. Oh, no, sorry, morning. He'd be having his morning coffee, watching the Down South Photo Show live. So nice work.
Oh yeah. Oh, so he's using us as an enema just to get his day going. It's 9:41 a.m. in Wales at the moment.
Geez, the live show already has had a fair bit of, and he's just waved back as well. Thank you, Rod. Has already found a bit of toilet humor.
Hey, guess what?
Yeah, go on.
701 subscribers.
Hello. We have that. Look, that gets a little. Hang on.
This is like a really poor version of Hey It's Saturday, isn't it? Hey,
that's right. I need Dickie Nee to show up.
So Kenny and Rod, they need to tell their mates in England about this show. Spread the word. They'll be in a camera club somewhere. They'll have some camera mates. Do you know where else we're ranking quite well in the charts?
Indonesia.
No, the Republic of Congo.
I knew it. I knew it'd be good there. I knew they'd get it. Yeah.
Who in Congo is listening to us? I'd love to know.
The Democratic Republic of Congo. That's awesome. I like it.
Surely there's no one there listening to us.
Surely they can't be serious.
Oh no, we're back to 700 subscribers. Someone just unsubscribed.
Someone bailed. Babe, it's 700.
Right.
This is good.
700. We're on 700. Right. Yeah.
Right. So
what else
let's do what we normally do on a normal episode for those of you who tune in on the regular. Background. You can go first. Why not?
Right. Yeah. Background is what I was just talking about, which is the beautiful Franklin River. So this is in a section called Newlands Cascades, which is about day 5 of the trip, just after Rock Island Bend, a famous Peter Dombrovskis location. And all along the riverbed, there's a whole heap of these beautiful little rock pools. So we ventured up and down the river's edge, doing some long exposures and rock pools, and it was very cool. It was a bit of an overcast night, so it made really sort of soft lighting, which was good. Helped with the exposure times to get the water running nice and slow. So it was good. But yeah, lovely spot on the river. Newlands Cascade is where the one person fell out, and that one person was Jamie. Because he wasn't he wasn't hanging on. He was too busy smiling at the camera and taking photos. Because I hopped out to do photos of him coming down the rapid, and he came out, but I missed it because he was under a cliff. I couldn't see it.
For those of you playing along at home, Jamie came along with us on our overland adventure back in April. So
he did.
I know who he's talking about when he's talking about Jamie, and I'm not surprised that he was super enthusiastic in the boat.
He was very super enthusiastic. He almost became the third guide towards the end. He was helping out a lot, and the guys were sort of letting him do a bit of stuff. So we all just sat back and relaxed and let Jamie do all the work. It was great.
Cam, did you know that if you go to dsps.com.au, you too can get a hoodie just like this or like yours?
No, you can't, because we've got none in stock. I'd have to go get some.
That is dsps.com.au.
Was that an ad, was it?
Just, I don't know. We're doing this on the fly. I've actually used this before as a background, but I was going through some of my old photos. I really like this photo. This is 13th Beach, which is the beach near my house. It's just near Ocean Grove. This is just west of Ocean Grove. I believe I shot this on the first night of our single day workshops back in summer.
Yes.
Was that summer this year or last year? I don't know. I'm losing track.
No, it was this year.
Yeah. So it's been a big year, man. Like
it has been a big year.
It has been a big year for all concerned. So yeah, 13th Beach, an awesome spot, an underrated location. I think one of the best things about 13th Beach is the lack of car parks, meaning that you can quite often find a stretch of beach to yourself if you're prepared to do a little bit of walking. So
right.
If you've been to 13th Beach, give us a shout out and tell us what you think of it. But if you'd like to go to 13th Beach with us, we are running a one-day workshop there. When's that? That's in January. So
no idea. It's on the website.
If you head to dsps.com.au, you will see where you can join us and take photos in this location.
Yeah, even the guys from Wales and England, feel free to pop over and join us.
No worries. We'll buy you a beer. If they front up, we will buy you a beer. Rod, get on a plane, come over and hang out on this beach here with us and take some photos.
It's not like it's far away.
Yes.
So I do remember that night. I think that was the second one we did. Because the first one we had a slightly different night, I think, at that location.
Yes.
From memory.
Yes.
That was cool. Yeah, we are doing
very different. No, you're right. They were two very different sunsets.
They were.
And the keen observers will notice that I do have bloodshot eyes. I might have been up at 4 a.m. watching Australia hoist the Cricket World Cup last night or this morning. So, I'm running on about 90 minutes of sleep. But, hey, who cares? It was worth it.
You know what you've just done? You've probably just dropped us about 1,000 watches on this live video. Remember the last live video we did? There's 4,000 people watching from India.
That's right.
Yeah, well, they've all just pissed off now. How good was it though? Sucked in India.
It was.
No, I don't have much time for the Australian cricket team anymore. I think they're a little bit obnoxious and stuff like that. And I'm a big cricket fan. But you know what? They played very well and they bowled and fielded very well. And India, I think, thought they were just going to walk in and 120,000 people were just going to lift them up and carry them around like gods, and they didn't. And the way they all disappeared afterwards was pretty poor effort as well. But
yeah, it wasn't the best sportsmanship. But
we're not a cricket show though, so it's okay.
No, we're not. But when you live in a place where you are literally idolized and treated like a god, and if you bring a World Cup home on your home soil, you're pretty much set for life. I could understand why quite a few of them were pretty upset and just wanted to get the hell out of there. So,
but still.
Although, they should have hung around and at least seen us hoist it. Anyway, that's enough of that. So let's talk us. Let's talk the Down South Photo Show. Let's talk 100 episodes. Do you have any standout episodes, Cam, that sort of resonate with you when you think back over the last 100?
Next 100.
Well, not really. Should we just move on?
No. That's it. Thanks for coming. No, I think there's been some great episodes. The ones that sort of stand out most for me are the earlier ones when we're sort of like, you go back and watch them now, we're a little bit unpolished, but we're not much better
we're
now.
Polished now.
That's right. Like the first couple were quite good. The ones that stand out to me mostly were probably the ones that we did through COVID, because I know that helped quite a lot of people.
Yeah.
Just chew the fat for an hour each week. And, I was in a bit of a different situation down here in Tassie where we weren't as locked down as some people, but so yeah, they were good. The interviews we've done have been great with all the guests that we've had on there. And I think some of the photo comps we've done, even like last month's photo comp, was really quite good.
Yeah.
So having a chat about them on the episodes is always great to go through the great shots that we get from the followers here. So no real one standout. I think it's been an outstanding 100 episodes in general.
Yeah. So far, so
if I don't say so myself.
Yeah, that's right. Here's to the next 100. But I would have thought definitely the comps that we've started doing recently, and because it's real life feedback for us, right? What people are into, what they're photographing, what people enjoy seeing, what people don't enjoy seeing. I mean, that trees one, and I've said it a couple of times on the show already, but the standard was as good as a standard of any photographic competition I've seen.
Yeah, it was.
So,
it was. If not a bit better, because they weren't over processed and they weren't made up of stuff. And it was good.
That's right. That's another story as well.
Yeah.
But and I think you're right. I think the episodes that I've actually watched back not a couple of times, but at least once, the Ben Horn episode is still rates as one of my favorites. When we had Glyn on, when we had Ash Hughes on, that's been fantastic.
Who?
That's right. And Glyn. And shout out to Ash. He's watching in, I think he said it was Shark Bay.
He's not watching. Like if he's watching, he'd be commenting in the comments.
Well, let's see.
He's got rid of his beard though, hasn't he?
He got rid of it, grew it back, got rid of it, grew it back, got rid of it, grew it back.
Right.
The guy's off the grid, mate. He's traveling Australia with his family.
He's not the same without a beard, though.
No, that's right.
We also had another guest on the trip who was on the Franklin with us the other day.
Oh, absolutely. That's right.
But we don't mention his name. So
no, that's right. There's no point.
No.
But where was I going with that? I was going to mention the other episodes that I really enjoyed. Oh, look, yep. I think for me personally, the big deal of this year was the Overland track.
Yes.
When we did the
that was good. That was a good episode.
I really like that episode, and I am here to tell all our avid viewers that there is a director's cut in the works of that episode.
God, Jesus Christ!
There is, which actually goes for about an hour. It's going to be just a lot more footage. We got a bit of feedback that people wanted to see more, and understandably. Yep. But when you're trying to cram a 6-day walk into a 45-minute, episode, it's a bit tricky. But
it is a bit tricky.
Yeah, there's a lot more footage out there that I shot on the walk that I'm going to include. No idea when I'm going to put that out, but I might maybe it'll be a Christmas present for everyone.
Christmas. Well, that was episode 77. And that's our second highest rating episode, or second highest viewed episode, right behind episode 1.
Episode 1 would be the most, which is kind of ironic, isn't it? Because people are tuning in to have a look at us at episode 1 to see if they're going to watch this show, and that's when we're at our worst. I
just got a message from Tom Putt.
No need to mention it.
No, you know what his message is? Look at it. He's such a dickhead. He goes, Brendan can't even bring himself to say my name. Oh, dear, Tom. Hey, speaking of...
But I overlook you, Tom.
Jeez, sorry. He says he doesn't watch, but he watches every episode.
Of course he does.
He loves it.
He just can't wait for us to say his name.
Hey, tell you what, here's a new... Just while we're looking at Tom Putt, here's an amazing background change. Quickly, watch this, folks. Try and guess who's in the front seat of that raft. What is that man doing? It wasn't that scary, but he looks like his soul's about to leave his face there. So you wanted to shout out, Tom? You got to shout out, because I knew he wouldn't be able to help himself for chiming in if he was watching live. So anyway, so episode 77 was the Overland track. That was great fun.
It was, and most certainly. I mean, I might have at some point done the Overland with you, but I think we made it happen because of the Down South photo show. So that's
we've got another walk coming up in February.
We do.
There's another episode.
We're off on the 3 Capes, which is I'm really pumped for that. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
It'll be good because it'll come at a good time of year for me personally, because that's when when the madness starts to settle down of the of Christmas and the holiday madness that we get here in Ocean Grove. So that'll be awesome. Really, really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I did put up here what were our least favorite episodes. There was a couple of episodes where
the Tom Putt interview one. That was pretty shit.
Well, yeah, I don't even know. We should probably delete that.
Yeah, I mean, then we won't have
unless he wants to pay us for all the free ad promotion we gave him.
That's a place filler, that one.
It's like a seat filler at the Oscars. Yeah, that's right.
No. Least favorite episode. Any episode that mentions, for Christ's sake, any message episode that mentions AI, I hate. AI, as we all know, can go fuck itself.
Yes, there it is. See, I can't bleep this.
No, you can't.
No, it's live. Oh well. Sorry for those of you with kids in the car taking the kids to school and listening to the podcast.
No, it's AI is it's my least favorite subject. Closely followed by back button focus.
Yes,
we've had some good. I don't think I've had a least favorite episode.
No,
but I think we've had some interesting rants. We had a disagreement once, I think, maybe.
We've had a couple of. I mean, I think it's healthy that we might have different perspectives and different points of view on things.
Yeah.
We're not sort of at each other's throats, but occasionally there's been a couple of times where, I just haven't agreed with your point of view, and that's fine.
Yeah. And that's right. And you were wrong. That's fine.
That's right. That's what happens in this world, as we all know. Yeah. It's not all smooth sailing. So that's been interesting as well. Did we want to briefly talk about what the future of the Down South photo show looks like, Cam?
Well, yeah, I guess we can.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to sit here and say, well, it's going to be more of the same, but it may not necessarily be more of the same. We've had feedback from people. And look, and to be perfectly honest, 100 episodes, it is difficult not to cover the same ground. Coming up with new things to talk about hasn't been easy, but we've managed to do it. I think the segments it's going to be interesting to see which segments survive from here.
Yeah.
I think we all know that Dear Cam is here to stay. That's just welded on. That's part of the show. But
yeah, well, it's almost turned into Dear Guys, isn't it? Like it's mainly...
it is. I mean, it was always sort of that way inclined. But no, that's your part of the show, Cam.
One segment that must definitely stay is the beer donations.
Now,
that's now.
If there's anyone watching right now, and if they head over to dsps.com.au and they donate us a beer right now, we will give you a shout out. Because why not?
This is just becoming a selfless plug of our show, isn't it?
It's our 100th episode.
Yeah. It is 100. Yeah, keep doing that.
Prop. Can I get reimbursed for that prop, please? That cost me $. That's
the only prop we've ever used.
Well, true. It is.
Yeah.
Someone has asked if we can if we could do a bloopers reel.
No. Well, you know what? This shits me to tears, and you know why? Because every episode you're recording and you cut out the funniest bits of the show before we even start. So let's put it this way, folks.
Let's get some people behind the scenes stuff here. If
we were to share the first 3 to 4 minutes before we record any episode, we would either be cancelled off YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
We would either offend 90% of people that listen.
Yes.
Or we would just have people jump off and not follow us because it is highly inappropriate. It is highly funny.
And on at least one occasion, we would have had the police knocking on the door, but that's another story.
Yes.
My mission before we go on air is to make him laugh. And like literally the split second before I say, hello, everyone, I'll just say something ridiculous that I know is going to crack him up. And that's why if you go back
highly inappropriate.
If you go back and listen to the very start of the episodes, you normally hear him chuckling, and then I'm just got him, bang, here we go. So,
but this is the thing, like we can't do a bloopers reel because we don't edit anything.
No.
Like we press record and then we stop and that's it. Like
pretty much.
Like Brendan's editing skills are about as good as he's changing his ratio in the early episodes where he couldn't get from 4:3 to 16:9 or whatever it was.
That was a fantastic running gag, that one.
No. So for us to do bloopers, we'd have to be more organized. So really, like you guys, when you hear it on the podcast or watch it on YouTube, there's no cuts or breaks. It's just us crapping on for 45 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
And someone's just donated a beer. We're going to be here forever.
Here we go.
I think I might know who it is.
Okay. All right.
If it is them, I might not give them a shout out. Hang on. But there is no bloopers. I know there is someone who two people just donated beers.
There you go. Thank you.
Leslie O and Steve E.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate that.
Yes.
That's awesome. We're going to do a full list of beer donators a little later on in the show tonight.
Oh, hang on. Now there's another one. You're an idiot. We're never going to get past this segment.
Here we
now.
Go. Come on. You can do it.
Oh, yeah. Someone else just donated a slab. Don't need to mention them.
Oh, really? Very nice.
Thank you, Mr. Tom Putt, for your slab of beer.
Tom, hey, you can help us drink it.
Hey, Tom said he's free in February and would like to come on the Three Capes.
Okay. We'll talk. It'll cost you.
Booked out, isn't it?
And it is actually booked out. You can't.
It is booked out. I'm happy to sacrifice my spot, Tom.
So I had a customer, hello, Robin, if you're watching, who bought a OM System OM5 off me the other day. Off on, get this, doing the overland track, departing on the 23rd of December.
Yes, so a lot of people do it on Christmas and over Christmas.
Having the Christmas walk. How good's that?
Yeah, some people do New Year's Eve. They do Christmas Day to New Year's Eve as well.
Okay, yep.
So yeah, it is a popular thing that people do.
And she mentioned, I said to her, well, I'm doing the Three Capes, and she's like, "How on earth did you get a spot on the Three Capes?" And particularly in the time of year we're doing it. So I feel privileged. Looking forward.
We got in early. So.
Absolutely. Now, what else were we going to talk about?
We're going to talk about the future of the show. How are we going to fix this up?
Yeah, well, that's right. What else do you want to see, guys? Drop us comments and anything. I think what we've worked out pretty quickly is people do like seeing photos, of course. And again, there ain't no way for us to fix that on the podcast. That's just not going to happen. But on the audio version of the podcast, of course. But here on YouTube, I think we'll continue to run the comps, and we'll continue to have our top 10. And by the way, the People's Choice is up for November for the trees comp from last month. So jump over on the Facebook page and have a look at that. Cam pulled his finger out and actually did something for the channel for once.
I'm never here to do anything. So I think
not the true, by the way. Cam does plenty.
I think what works well, and the feedback I seem to get is, I reckon we can maybe get a little bit more educational. So maybe not go deep into the technical stuff, but maybe instead of just sort of glazing over sort of tips and advice, we can maybe get a bit deeper into the advice. Is what
I think at one point there was a really nasty jingle we had called Tip of the Week that didn't really take off.
No,
so
it didn't.
Probably need to work on that as well. So
yeah. Hey, there's more beer donations coming in. Would you like me to keep going?
Yeah, but please.
Lani I know Lani, she's lovely. And Tanina. Hello, Tanina. Tanina came down to Franklin. She came down to Franklin last year. Tanina, if you are still watching, there was no tears on this trip.
I think I met Tanina in Bright, did I not?
You would have met Tanina in Beefop. Yes, she would have been into about a fifth or sixth drink when you met her, I reckon.
Hello, Tanina. It's lovely to have you on board. What were we
tip of the week.
Yes,
sort of fell on a heap.
Yeah,
but I think maybe we can refine or polish a little bit more the how we can maybe
educational side.
Yeah, because I think like we're by no means experts in what we do. I think we're good at what we do, but we're not up there with the legends of the photography world. But we've been around long enough, gear and know your photography. I know workshops and stuff like that.
I think that's the point, is with the experience that we bring. That's what we we want to share.
Yeah. So I think we can certainly incorporate something that's a little maybe more of a segment that is a bit more educational or stuff like that. So
exactly. And speaking of segments, stay tuned, folks, because we're about to show off some of our photos from this year, which we'd like to do on these live episodes, where we'll
that means I've got to share a screen, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it also means I've got to find 5 photos quickly we're going to talk about the 5 photos. One thing that I really want to drive home as well is the Mali workshop that we did about a month ago now. That really resonated with me. I absolutely loved doing that workshop and taking people. Obviously, there's a emotional connection for me to that part of the world because I was basically brought up in the Mali. But there was something about it that worked, I think, really well over and above what you would expect on most other workshops. That connection that we had, the conditions we got were fantastic. The weather was great. Everyone on it was great. The food was great. The transport was great. Everything worked really well on that workshop. So that was a real highlight. Just going back to the topic before, that was a real highlight of the last 12 months.
A little bit of behind the scenes on that trip as well for people on beyond. So we finished on the Saturday or the Friday?
No, we finished on the Sunday.
Sunday.
We finished on the Monday, actually.
And we played golf on the Tuesday.
We played golf Monday afternoon and came back.
Monday afternoon.
Yes.
Yeah. But what did you decide to do in the hotel room on after golf that night? Do you remember?
Well, when you're in a hotel room and you're sharing it with one of your mates, I mean, what else do you do but get your golf clubs out and play a round of golf?
We decided, Brendan decided that we were going to play a round of golf with real golf clubs and golf balls in the hotel room. I hope Burke and Wills Hotel are watching this.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff. So Brendan designed a course to be able to, it was a putter only course.
Yep.
But I think your second shot on the first hole went into my undie part of my of my luggage. So these are the kind of things that happen behind the scenes that don't necessarily need to be shared. But the Murray Meli was a great, and like I said on the time, I wasn't skeptical, but I was like, oh, we'll give this a go. Maybe this region has stuff it can offer. And it's a beautiful region, and I think we only sort of scratched the surface.
We did. What
you can do up there.
It's the classic hidden gems kind of area where you don't have to get too far off the beaten path to find some ripping photography opportunities in that part of the world.
Yeah.
And you're completely right. I think although the people that came along on the workshop had a ball, everyone has said it was a great workshop.
Yep.
I think it opened our eyes a little bit more to some other opportunities up that way when we do it again next year. So if you would like to join us, I'll stop plugging the workshops. Just jump on the website and have a look.
More beer donations coming through. Thanks, Rod Little from the UK.
All of us, beautiful. I hope we get a pint.
Thanks, Phil.
A pint of
thanks,
Stella.
Andrew. Thanks, Dave. Dave Marlin. I'm sure he bought us beer anyway. He's bought us more.
I know. Good man, Dave.
If we keep this going, we're going to have to register this bloody website
for a license.
For a license.
It's got to be a licensed show.
Yes.
I like it.
Yeah.
Should we show off some photos?
Let's show photos. All right.
Yeah. So what we decided to do, well, I told Cam he had to do, was basically find 5 photos that he's taken in the last 12 months, and
which wasn't many.
We're gonna break them down for you. We're gonna talk about
share
how we did
a
it,
screen.
why we did it, all that sort of stuff.
Can you see our live feed, Brendan?
I can if I click there. Yes, I can see our live feed.
Right. And so that should be now I can see it. Yes.
Yeah. Well,
I can see we've got a Lightroom.
Yes, we have. Oh, wow.
Right.
And there's this little sneak peek. Oh, we're going to start with that one.
Well, that's the first one in there. So this is one of yours, Brendan. So why did you choose this as one of your 5?
So this was a month ago. This was on the Murray Mallee workshop at an awesome place called the Pioneer Settlement in Swan Hill.
It was.
Some of you might have had a school trip there at some point, like Cam seems to think he did, but he can't remember whether he did or not.
Remember. Yeah, I don't know.
And at the Pioneer Settlement, it's basically your classic ye olde village, where they have. I think their slogan is "Where the good old days never really ended." But that might have been it in the 80s. But anyway, they've got a proper, as you can see, a proper working blacksmith's shed. And I just knew straight away that this was going to be a place that you just have to get a shot. There's something about. I mean, look at the crap all over the place.
I was going to say, look at the crap.
Yeah, look at the it's so unorganized, but that's what makes it organized. It's a theme, there's metal, steel, there's an anvil. Look at that anvil. I mean, have a look at it. It's awesome. It's shining beautifully. I wish I could remember the name of the blacksmith there, but sorry. But and he's there's the movement of his arm as he pumps the forge and gets those sparks flying for us as well. And to be perfectly honest, this shot came out pretty much exactly how I intended.
That's good.
So in terms of technique, goodness me, not a heap. Aperture priority. I cranked my ISO. I would have thought. I don't know if I've got the EXIF data on this file.
Yeah, I can't find it here either.
It's probably because I ripped it off Facebook.
Probably.
Yep. And aperture priority probably shot at I would say somewhere around the f8 mark and probably 1600 ISO, so I could get a fast enough shutter speed, but not too fast, so that the sparks got a little bit of movement in them. Handheld with the OM5 8-25, and the image stabilizing system on the OM5. How good is it? So you can see this is handheld. So if you have a look at the movement of the sparks and then look at the sharpness of the anvil to the left there, that gives away how good the image stabilization system is on this camera. So
that's something we discussed at length on the Franklin just gone. I was the only Olympus user there, and I didn't use a tripod pretty much the whole time. We went for one of the photos I'm going to show is actually a 6-second handheld shot, which people were just a bit blown away by. So,
cool.
Do you know what one thing that photo is missing?
What's that, mate?
A beard.
I thought you were going to say a beer.
No, a beard. That dude needs to be like an old rugged beard.
He does need to be a wee.
He looks a bit. He
looks
a bit clean cut. He looks a bit too clean cut.
He does, but I think when you get a job at the Pioneer Settlement, like for 1 hour you're a blacksmith, for the next hour you're driving a horse and cart,
cleaning the toilets,
and the next hour you're the priest up in the church. So
right.
So I kind of get it. But
fair enough.
Yeah, no, I really got a kick out of getting a lot of photos in that area. But that was one of the ones that, and again, I didn't have long. I just like literally leant in on the scene and snapped it. So
well, you had lunch coming. That's why. Right. Let's move on to this one. So this is my one. We are on Flinders Island, on the west coast of Flinders Island. This is on a workshop earlier in the year. And behind us is a famous rock called Castle Rock, which is this big rock. It's got a split through the middle of it. It looks really cool. But this is another one of those lessons about don't go home as soon as the sun goes down. So the sun has actually just gone down in this shot, and that's that classic blue hour starting to kick in. But we just had some beautiful color in the sky. And I remember sitting there, we were sort of waiting for a few people to pack up, and I thought this is just too good to walk away from. So we spent another 10, 15 minutes there waiting for that light to change a bit. And all the lichen on the rocks on Flinders Island is pretty cool. But it's a beautiful spot. And it's one of those photos where I can almost remember like the temperature and the feel of it, like light breeze, relatively mild, beautiful light. I like those evenings for shooting where you get that lovely light being left over. So this is on the OM1 Olympus, would have been with the 8-18 Panasonic DG Leica lenses. Probably handheld, might be maybe a couple of seconds looking at the water there. But yeah, beautiful spot. If you haven't been to Flinders Island, if you're a photographer in Australia and you want to get away for a week to photograph some really nice coastal and mountains and not be interrupted, this is the place you want to go, because not many people go there, and you can literally have the whole island to yourself for most of the time you're there. So yeah, that was that one.
Nice. I like it. Ash Hughes asked, is that still the blacksmith? What's that mean? I don't know. Ash Hughes has joined us, everyone.
Hey, Ash Hughes. Welcome, Ash.
So this photo here, I don't rate it as an actual photo, as a great photo, but it means a lot to me, this photo. So this was on the second to last day of the Overland. We'd had it. Look, I think it was safe enough to say, Cam, on the Overland, it was a slog. We had a fairly,
yeah.
It was wet. It rained a lot.
You say a slog. I say typical.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. The reason this photo resonates with me is because, as I say, it was getting late in the day. We weren't far away from camp, sort of walking down a very steep part of the Overland, which my knees paid for the next 3 months. But sort of, I could hear the running water. You know, you're walking through a forest, you can hear the water, and you just want to hone in on it. And I sort of just looked off to the right, and I could just see this amazing cascade coming down. So it was just time, just dump the pack, get the camera out, and just stop for a few minutes. And again, handheld, again, Olympus OM5 8-25. I think most of my shots tonight will be on that camera, because I acquired that camera back in January this year.
You did for that walk, didn't you?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Handheld, obviously, longish exposure on that. I'm going to say it's going to be at least a second. You know, I would have thought on this one I was shot about f11. And what I do remember about this shot is that I'm leaning my shoulder against a tree to sort of try and form a bit of a human tripod, if you like. So, haven't you been called that before? Yeah, I have many times. You know, with the Overland, what strikes you is the moss and the greens that you get in the moss and the lichen, and you know that you're part of an ancient landscape. Like Cam said to us on the Overland, you know, don't be surprised if a Tyrannosaurus Rex wanders out of the forest. You know, it feels like that. It feels like it's been there a hell of a lot longer than we have. And I think this was one of the spots where it gave me a newfound respect for, well, the Tasmanian wilderness, but Australia in general. We've got some stunning parts of the world, stunning landscapes to shoot here in Australia. Yeah, that was one of them.
Yeah, totally. That's so that is day 5. It's on the way down into Bert Nichols campsite. So it's coming down. It's one of the nicer sections of forest, and that little cascade, you're not unique in the moment of being caught out by that cascade. A lot of people get there and they know they're close to camp, they're tired and they're probably wet and cold, and they go, I've just got to stop and take this because it's a stunning part of little forest there. So it's a good one.
Not like a minute after this, it started snowing.
Yes, it did, and it was freezing cold that night, wasn't it? That was a cold night.
That was a cold old night at Bert Newton hut.
Bert Newton. I used to call it Bert Reynolds. The first Reynolds hut.
Well, what do we got here, Cam? Where are we here?
You have a guess. Where do you think we are?
Oh, it's Tasmania.
No, it's not Tasmania.
Oh, it's not Tasmania.
No.
Is this the high country? Is this like up above Bright?
It is. It
Mount
is.
Buffalo, in fact.
This is Mount Buffalo, yeah.
Yes, there you go.
So this is Mount Buffalo out near the Horn, so all the way out to the end. You can walk up to the Horn, and we just had another workshop up there, the Autumn Bright workshop, and this was just really foggy day. We thought, well, let's get up into the mountains and have a bit of a play, and sort of saw these trees all creeping over the top with this pretty cool rock in the foreground. So I thought I'd just create a shot that sort of had like a bit of a tunnel effect to it, but it was more about the mood. And that's something that we speak about a lot on this show, is that weather can make or break your shot. So, you put this in a bright, sunny blue day and it doesn't look anywhere near as moody and atmospheric as this one. So same again, would have been the OM1 with probably a wide angle, 8-25 or 8-18. Handheld, probably about F11 or F16 just to get some depth of field going in there. But yeah, it was just a really moody, and it's funny, I'd never actually noticed those trees before on this walk because it's always been fairly sunny when I've been up there. But as soon as you put some fog in the cloud or a cloud in the shot, those trees become really haunted and create quite a bit of character. I wouldn't have minded. Yeah, I wouldn't have minded that sort of little bit here not to be there, so I can just really see down there. But that was a bit tricky. But yeah, another cool spot to visit, Bright, especially Mount Buffalo. It's a stunning place for photos all year round.
Yeah, it is. No, that's cool. I love that the trees in the background, just the icing on the cake for that one.
Yeah, there's a couple other shots I got from that. There's one of those things where it was just like shooting fish in a barrel for about an hour up there. I got quite a lot of good shots there, but a lot of them with these funky trees all winding everywhere and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
Another one of yours, Breno.
Yeah, this was I'm losing track, but this was the middle of winter, I want to say, here at Point Lonsdale. So 13th Beach, which was my background here. Well, if you go basically the same direction the other way, heading east from Ocean Grove, you come to Point Lonsdale. I'm very lucky where I live. I've got awesome photographic locations literally on my doorstep. Yeah. And I'm trying really hard not to take them for granted, but you kind of do sort of when it's so close here. So yeah, big swell was running through Point Lonsdale. I thought, you know what, I'm going to get a piece of that. So I jumped in the car and went down there at sunset. And of course, this is one of Australia's main shipping channels right here. This is the entrance, also known as the Rip, into Port Phillip Bay. Well, I think if you look sort of off the front of the boat there, I guess that's like Mount Martha or something like that sort of area.
Yeah, Arthur's Seat, Mount Martha, or something like that.
that sort of area there.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
But what I found here, there's a local photographer here, Pete James. If you're watching, awesome photographer, very, very talented landscape photographer, and he'd had this angle for quite some time, and it took me forever to work out. I'm like, has he shot that with a drone, or where? And then I found it. So I worked out where to get this shot from, where to get this angle from. If you're coming along to the Ballerine workshop, I'll take you there and show you. It's a cool spot. But the thing I love about Point Lonsdale is every time I go there, it's different. The swell's different, the tide's different, the weather conditions are different, and the big ships just give you so much perspective. It's kind of cool. I don't normally like to have such man-made objects in my photos, but when you've got this sort of stuff going on, the wave that you can see that's off the end of the jetty and between the ship and the jetty, they're quite big. The swell area.
They are big swells there.
You've been there when it's been running, so
yeah, I haven't been there where it's been massive though.
No, so I've been there and literally seen. So the little shed you can see under the jetty there, I've actually literally seen a wave hit that.
Yeah, right.
So, wow. And yeah, it can actually get quite dangerous out there, and they do from time to time close the jetty when it gets scary dangerous. But I don't know. It's one of those images that sort of made itself. All the pieces sort of fell into place. The composition just worked nicely, and it was really, as the boat was coming in, the ship was coming in. It was like, come on, wave, and I just needed that wave to crest right beside it. So,
well, almost those two waves have almost framed that whole thing up, the jetty and everything like that. So
yeah, it has framed it up quite well. So I was happy with that. So that's with the. This is actually with my EM1X.
Have you still got that?
I'm quite taken by that camera. I didn't think I would be. So this is with the EM1X with a 100 to 400 lens, which for those of you playing along at home is a 200 to 800 equivalent because it runs micro four thirds. The EM1X is awesome. It's a big chunky sports shooting camera, wildlife kind of camera. But I like it. It fits well in my hand, and I really enjoy shooting with it. In fact, I remember doing these shots and I was literally dropping one camera and picking up another because I had my OM5, my EM1X running two separate lenses. And I think I remember, I think I texted you, I sent you a bit of footage of these.
I think you did.
What I was shooting. That night. So an awesome spot. Point Lonsdale in Victoria, Australia.
Very nice. Good light on the boat too. I like that. Right.
Yes.
This is probably one of my favorite shots of the year. I actually got a couple of different sort of like shots on this over a couple of trips we did to Bruny Island. So this is off the very south point of Bruny Island as you get into the Southern Ocean. And what I like about this shot is that it's on a really rough boat with a long lens. So you got not much room to move, and you got lots of movement going on. But it seems to be one of those places that has a lot of atmosphere and mood and sea spray and stuff like that. So when I got this back home and I edited it, I thought, I really like that. It's got some good color. It's got some good atmosphere and a bit of a gnarliness with the rocks and stuff like that. So sometimes, you get photos back from a trip. You're like, oh, that's okay. And they'll pass as, Instagrammers and promotions for workshops and stuff like that. But this one I've actually printed up really big on a canvas, thanks to yours truly, which now sits in my kitchen. So that's what I think I know that I've got a shot I like, is when I go print it big and do something with it, as opposed to just leaving it on a hard drive or chucking it online or something like that. So, but I do remember the swell this day. Speaking of swell, I think we had 7 or 8 meter swells in these small boats off the bottom of Bruny, which is amazingly scary to think of, but incredibly cool to be out there when you've got really highly skilled boat rider or boat drivers, and people are out there having a lot of fun. So we're up and down in the waves, and that's what made this shot so hard. Like 1 minute you're up and you're sort of pointing almost to the top of that, next minute you're down and amongst all the waves, and you couldn't actually see most of the rock there. So
this image has got a real sort of ethereal feel to it, like the mood. It's like a monolith, like rising out of the fog. It's just it's an absolute cracker. And I remember when I did this on canvas, I think it's how big did we do it? I can't remember now.
It's like a meter and a half by a meter or something. It's pretty big. 50 by 30 inches or something like that. A chunky old canvas. It printed up beautifully. Really awesome. How's the light? What's funny though? You say it's a bit of a monolith and stands out, but when you look at it from the boat, it's like there's a series of them. Like there's about 4 or 5 of these all along the coast. It's only because you isolate it with a shot with a longer lens that you sort of give it its own time, and it sort of sits on stage on its own. But there would be another cool shot there with a wide angle lens where you could have a whole series of these all line up along the coast. But I didn't go for that shot. I went for something just to isolate it. But it was pretty cool, and it looks good printed. And again, another good reason to print your stuff up, folks.
Yeah. Can we get conditions like that on the 3 Capes, please?
Yeah, probably. We can do that.
That'd be awesome. Thank you. This is another shot that I got on the overland. The fungus was really, really cool. I'm almost certain that I shot this on my iPhone. So don't hate me. But I think the reason I wanted to put it up here was because it doesn't matter what camera you've got. Like just I don't care. To take it on a potato, it doesn't matter. Take it on a Pentax K1000.
Yeah. Didn't they do a potato camera?
Like this one right here. Yeah, I think they did. Yeah. And I mean, this was there's a story behind every shot, but this one was another part of the track where, can I say the word rooted? Because I was rooted at this point when I was walking with my pack, and I was over it. No, I wasn't over it. I was just tired. I was tired, emotional.
You're really selling this walk, mate.
And then the fungus started to come, and you can see. And I mean those little caps there on the toadstools there. I mean they wouldn't be any more than a centimeter high.
They're like small fingernail size, maybe. Yeah.
And at this point of the walk, I wanted to take photos, but at the same time I couldn't be asked getting all the big gear out, and we were getting close to the end of the day, and I just wanted to get to camp and settle. But that was where I was really glad that I did have a half decent camera on my phone, and I was able to get shots like this, you know. So yeah, I'm still, and listeners to the show know that I'm a big advocate for, it's not what you got, it's how you use it. And the best camera you own is the one that you've got on
one in your hand. Exactly right. And it's funny that so many people just don't sort of buy into that sometimes. Again, like people do miss a lot of shots because they think, oh, I've got this fancy camera, I've got to use it. Otherwise, you know, it's not going to be a real photo. But, you know, we've got to remember that photography is just about the memories and making sure we don't miss them. You know, if you miss those memories, then, you know, what's the point? Doesn't matter what camera you have then.
I did a little one-on-one workshop the other night. So in summertime, when I finish up at Camera and Photo, close the doors at 5, and quite often I'll run a little one-on-one photography workshop just for a couple of hours where we'll have a quick chat about the gear they've got, like literally first timers, mostly beginners, and then we'll go out and take photos. We had Andrew with me the other night. Hello, Andrew, if you're watching. Lovely gentleman, British gentleman, and he'd been taking photos for 30 years. But he had a real sort of staunch way of taking photos, and that was you get the camera, you put it up to your eye, and you take a shot.
Yeah.
What Andrew wasn't used to was using the live view screen, and that's where I got him onto phone photography. And you know, you've got your phone there. You can use your phone to work out your compositions before you use your high-end camera or your big camera or whatever. But the main thing was we got him like so his camera had a flip out screen, which he discovered while he was with me. I said, you know, the screen flips up. He's like, oh my God, look at that. And so we were flipping the screen up and then putting the camera down low, close to grasses and insects and all kinds of stuff. And yeah, it was really cool. And I think a lot of people need to remember just how versatile your compact camera can be, your phone can be, even your full-blown SLR can be. If you use the live view screen and angle it up, you can get shots like this without breaking your back.
That's right. And you're not lying on, you don't have to lie on the ground. You can hold the camera down or hold it up as well.
Although Jamie will tell you real photographers lay on the ground.
Jamie.
That's all he seemed to do on that overland track was lay on the ground and take photos.
Yeah, he's got to learn to put his viewfinder up to his face.
He does. Look at that. That's cool.
Yeah, this was cool. Very cold. It was up in the Central Highlands of Tassie this winter. There's some certain spots now, I know Tassie so well, where I'm like, it's going to be a sunny day, I'll go here. It's going to be a moody day, I'll go there. If it's going to be a snowy day, I'll go to these spots. So there's some incredible snow gums up in the Central Highlands of Tasmania, and the colour that they display, usually the orange and yellows and sort of cream and browns, are really cool. But this is a really cool day. It was just bucketing snow, then it would clear out, then it would bucket snow and clear out. So it was just wave after wave of snowstorms. And again, like this is almost taken from the side of a road. Just drive along until you see a nice series of trees with a bit of color on them. And with the rest of the atmosphere doing what it does, it just works really well. So I do like these shots. I'm definitely, I think, a tree person as opposed to a coastal person. I think I've said that a few times, but I do like snow. We're not getting as much snow as we usually do, though, which is global warming or whatever you want to call it these days. We don't seem to be getting the big snow events that we used to, but when they do happen, I get out there as much as I can and capture them. So this again would have been the OM1, probably something like a normal 12 to 40 lens on it, which is what, a 24 to 80, so pretty standard sort of lens. One thing I do a lot when I'm out teaching and shooting is I always scan the outside of my frame. So there's a couple of shots where some of these trees right on the left and right, we're almost touching the side of the frame. So sometimes I'll crop it or I'll reshoot it just to make sure I'm not sort of, oh, look at that. I mean, a few. Sometimes I'll crop it just to make sure I'm not getting any trees touching the outside. So you want to give these trees and your frame a little bit of room to breathe as opposed to getting things really squashed in on the side. So it's another little tip to keep in mind.
Yeah, the texture that you've got on that central tree there is really cool. And a nice subtle color too, like really subtle.
It's very low saturated sort of color.
Yeah.
But because everything's so white, it just stands out really well.
Yeah.
So
which only enhances the image even further. So
yeah.
Nice one. Very nice.
I know this place.
Yeah, well, it was only a few weeks ago. So this is back up in Swan Hill. This was on the Murray Mallee workshop. This was the photo that I had in mind when we hatched the workshop, when we inserted the word Murray into it. Yeah. This was the photo that I wanted people to be able to have the opportunity to take. We were lucky in that the flow on the Murray was quite high. There was plenty of water going down the Murray last month at Swan Hill. That's the paddle steamer Piup, which comes out of the Pioneer Settlement. I knew that it was going to be going past this stretch of the river.
No, you didn't.
I was 95% sure.
Bullshit.
It was 95% sure.
Your sphincter tightened up a bit right before it was meant to come around the corner. You're
I thought, we're going to have a nice little session here photographing the river.
You were a little bit nervous
when I heard that little whistle blow.
Yep.
That was all I needed. And
it was quite funny, wasn't it? You kept looking at me going, "Oh Jesus, I hope this boat comes." I'm like, "Well, it'll be fine."
But it really, I mean, it added to the scene so much, and it carved its way up the Murray there and went around this big sweeping bend right in front of us, and it was perfect because it gave us everyone on the workshop an opportunity to set up, get ready. This is where the boat's going to be, and the great thing was, of course, it went upriver, hung a big U-turn, and came straight back again. So,
and I think how many people did you have on that workshop? Was it 8?
We had 8 people on that workshop.
8 people. Out of the 8 people that were all set up ready to take their shot, I think only 1 or 2 actually stayed in their original designated spots. Yes. Everyone else got a bit of panic about like, oh my God, it's coming. Oh, maybe this isn't the right composition now. Maybe I need to do this, maybe do it. Yeah. So there was a little bit of scattering happening, but the good thing was it came back down the river. So exactly. Like you said, we got it from both angles.
This is the EM1X with the 100 to 400 again. I'm going to say it was maximum zoom at this point. Yeah. I think what I like about this shot is the way it's framed by the foreground
of trees.
I love doing shots like this where you're shooting through something to give yourself a frame. You take that away, and that image loses all its depth. You don't really understand just how far away that boat was when we're doing those shots. It's just a cool scene, and of course, it means a lot to me. It's it's not sort of.
It's home.
I think Ocean Grove's home these days, but it's where I grew up, and I remember seeing the old Piup going up and down that Murray for years.
Yeah, and that's another good tip as well when you're shooting things with long lenses. It doesn't have to be landscape either. It can be portrait or a lot of other things, sports and stuff like that. Yeah, you can shoot through foliage because your depth of field or your focal plane's set out so far. Like you're focusing on that boat, which is a good 200 or 300 meters away from that tree that's in the very foreground there. So you can create some really nice framing, with people or products or whatever it might be, landscapes. If you actually shoot through foliage, but put your focal point towards the back of your frame with a shallower depth of field, that works really nicely, which is what you've done there. So keep that in mind as well. You can move that depth of field around. You can actually use things in the foreground to shape things up really nicely, as Brendan's done there.
Thank you, Cameron.
Next one. Last one, I think. So this is my last one. This is taken only 4 days ago, I think it was. So this is called the Lost World. So this is one of the parts of the Franklin River where you get to go explore. And it's funny, I've been up this place plenty of times before, but the other day when I was walking up there, it sort of gave me a flashback, talking about growing up and stuff. It gave me back a flashback to when I used to go up to Brighton, Wandillagong. We used to go walking up the streams and go exploring all day as kids. This is exactly what this felt like. This is all limestone. It's these limestone sort of rivulet with this stream running through it. It's ultra grippy. You can walk along. It's not too slippery. The water's only about ankle deep in most places. But one thing that was really tricky here was that we didn't have tripods there. So there was a lot of hand-hold stuff. But this is actually about a 6-second exposure. I was the same as you did on that other shot. I was crunched up against that wall and using myself to sort of stabilize myself, and got this nice little green leaf that was sitting in this little water hole on the side of the wall. And I looked at the thing. I'm like, oh, that's 6 seconds. I'm going to have to take a long, deep breath and stay nice and still. I put my focal point pretty much on that leaf at around about F16, trying to get as much depth of field as I could. And it just worked out really nicely. I like it. I think the green against the black works really nicely. That hasn't been placed there. That's just pretty much how I found it. I know some people like to place things in their scene, but not this little black duck. But yeah, it's a really cool place it's one of those places you could explore. We usually have about an hour in there. You could easily spend half a day, if not a full day, walking. It goes for, I'd say it's almost probably about 500 meters up this little canyon there with different cascades all the way. So it's very cool. We all had good fun there. It was, we got some really great shots. I think everyone was a little bit sort of blown away by how beautiful it was. Tom and I had a bit of fun going up there, getting some shots, and it was really cool. Actually, there's a couple of times when everyone sort of saw the same shot, which is really cool. That people were really tuned into where we were. You could see people ahead of you stopping at the same spot that you were going to stop on the way up, and yeah, it was good fun.
So could you walk up that stream?
Yeah, you walk up that stream all the way. Yeah,
fantastic. And well, you just got your booties on from the
rut. You know what you wear you wear Dunlop volleys.
Yep. Non-slip.
Non-slip. The limestone's actually really grippy. It's like a basketball court almost. And it's about a meter and a half wide. It's pretty narrow but easy to get up and down. And it's just a series of little cascades that go all the way down this little stream. And you can walk up there as far as you want, and you come back. It's lots of moss. It's all open above, so the sunlight sort of drops into this canyon. It's called the Lost World, which is pretty cool. But it's a great spot to go and explore. It's one of those.
It has the black and green, like the.
Yeah, that's
very cool.
And I didn't notice it at first. I was sort of standing there waiting for someone up ahead to get out of the shot so I could get the stream. And I sort of looked, I'm like, oh, there's a nice sort of contrast of the green and the black there. So it worked out really nice.
Very good. Nice.
Right.
There you go.
There you go.
That's a stack of photos that Cam and I have done over the last 12 months. We try and do that pretty much every year, notwithstanding that this is episode 100, but we try and do that sort of every year where we go back over some of our favorite shots of the year. And like we said off the top, they're not necessarily the greatest shots we've ever taken, but they mean a lot to us. And that was a very varied selection there, Cameron.
It was a bit all over the shot, wasn't it?
It was.
It's good though.
That.
Yeah,
I like it. So we at one point we had 50 people watching us live just now, by the way. It's now fallen all the way back down to 48. So there you go. How's the subscriber count looking, Cameron?
701 still. We have another beer from Sharon. Thank you, Sharon, for a beer.
Thank you very much, Sharon.
Jesus Christ, we have to drink a lot next
now,
episodes.
What we are not going to do is take this show beyond 10 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. So
good.
because that's well past Mel Haddon's bedtime.
Who's Mel?
Yeah, that's right.
Is Mel watching? Is any comments in the?
We have had lots of comments on lots of comments on the photos. Rod from Wales is tuning is contributing a lot. So thank you, Rod. I like that. What do we got here? I love the Rocky shot. Ash Hughes photography. Pete James nearly got swept off the end of that pier one day. He filmed it and sent it into the news. That is true. I've seen that footage. He was filming himself with his GoPro and almost got washed off the end of the jetty at the time.
I wonder how the swimming chickens would go off that jetty.
Oh, goodness me. The lovely Elaine was in the shop today. You'll be happy to know.
Right.
Les Oakey said, I'm saying Mount Buffalo like you guys can hear me.
We can.
That's right. We can hear you all. So
we've got a webcam in your house. Now, you know what we came up with? I came up with, because I got a bit silly towards the end of the Franklin River. So on the Franklin River, there's no toilet, as I said. You've got to go shit in a bag pretty much. And then that bag goes into another bag, and then that bag goes into this old ammunition box, and you got to carry all the shit out. But what I thought would be really funny if we do this trip next time is actually put up a secret. It's called the Groover.
Yes.
So, but if we put up a secret Groover cam, so bury a camera in a bush and watch people shit in a bag, because I reckon, because you can't do it on the ground. You got to hold the bag over your exit. And like, if you're like me, my quads can't stand there for 30 seconds holding, so it gets a bit, you get the shakes and you got to sort of readjust. But I thought it'd be really funny if we had a camera there for the whole trip. And talking of bloopers, that could make a pretty good blooper.
It would, yes. And
probably highly illegal and invasive, but
hi Laura, thanks for tuning in. She said, love that you share photos that have meaning for you. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
It's a simple rule, is photography. It's not about, and we spoke about this on the Franklin as well. It's not about like stroking your ego and winning awards and doing all that. That's all nice if you win awards and all that kind of stuff. But what it should be all about is just taking memories and going to nice places and go, that looks nice. I'll take a photo of it so I can look at it later and show my friends and family and, be happy that I went there.
Absolutely. And speaking of episodes that I really enjoyed, one of them I think was called You Do You, where we really talked a lot about please stop worrying about what other people think of your photography, for Christ's sake. Just
episode 92.
There you go. Thank you. It's so cathartic.
Yes.
Photography. It's I've been really grateful this year because I've been what I like to call in the zone a few times where you just know you're getting great photos. But you've gone through the effort of getting out to these places. Now, that doesn't mean rafting for 6 days down a wild river somewhere. This could mean literally going over to your local park and just making the effort to walk across and at sunset or sunrise even. 2024, I will be shooting a lot more sunrises. You heard it here first.
Sunrises suck.
They do, but gee, they could be good though when you've got the whole beach to yourself.
But they can also be really bad when they don't go off and you've
made all that effort.
Made all that effort.
Should we do a deer cam?
There is a deer cam. I've condensed it a bit.
Thank you.
So just read that first bit. Don't worry about the second page.
It'd be unlike this contributor to go on a bit, wouldn't it? So,
well, he reckons he's coming down to Franklin again next year.
Okay. Well, all right.
Wonder if he's watching, David. He must be watching. He bought us a beer.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi guys, congratulations on cracking the ton. Thank you, David. Hopefully you go on to the next.
Hang on.
Please hold.
Please hold. Hang on.
Oh, he's raised the bat.
There we go. I've got a cricket bat handy. Don't know how to use it, but I got one.
What? That's right. What the hell are you doing with that?
Living in my past.
Hopefully, you're going to the next ton without too many cramps. Oh, David, the mirth. Dear Brendan and dear Cam.
Hang on a sec. How the hell did you get first?
Hey, that's just what happens now.
Bullshit.
Top billing.
This is become the Down South Brendan show.
There's going to be a demarcation dispute here. Dear Brendan and dear Cam, Brendan, in episode 99, in reply to the question about film processing, you said you'd be able to process the film as well as present high-quality scans of the images. The question Brendan, I have is, what do you mean by high-quality scans in terms of image size, and what format do you recommend scanning to, particularly if the images need further work? Should I go? Well, I'll answer that part right now.
I'll separate the next bit for you.
Yeah, thank you. Scan at the highest resolution you've got available to you. The issue I've got is I use an Epson 780 flatbed scanner. Brilliant scanner. Absolutely, like one of the best scanners they've ever made. The problem is when you're scanning negs, particularly strip negs, is how long it can take to actually scan each negative. And quite often I'll have someone come in and they will have rolls for me to scan for them.
Yes.
And if you're scanning each neg and you've got it at a normal size at, say, 2,400 DPI, each neg will take 90 seconds to scan. So I've got to balance that because of the system I use, which is as I say, the Epson flatbed. Now, the people that process my film for me actually have the old-fashioned, the proper roll feed Noritsu neg scanner. That thing is amazing. That gives me a 5 meg file from a negative, which is cool. They can supply it in TIFF, but I just get them to supply it in JPEG because quite often we're Dropboxing things out and we can't be bothered with massive file sizes. I can supply TIFF, and I do recommend you scan to TIFF, but because, as I say, quite often we're Dropboxing things or we're using WeTransfer to get things out to people, we'll cut them back to a JPEG. And look, 99 times out of 100, that cuts the mustard for the kind of scanning that we're doing of negs. I have scanned in the last 12 months, and I'm not making this up, just around about 10,000 slides in the last 12 months. So there's been a lot of people coming in with their mounted slides for us to scan, and I love seeing them. Some of the shots I got just from a gentleman last weekend, incredible photos, actually from up on the Murray River, fishing back in the 50s and 60s and pulling gigantic Murray River cod out of the Murray. Cool stuff. But I digress. So that's as far as scanning, David. That's what I recommend you do. David goes on, I have an extremely large collection of very old images from the 20s through to the 90s, some of which need extensive restoration work to work through, and I do enjoy the restoration work. Given that further work would need to be done Given that further work would need to be done on some of them, would this change your recommendation? No, it wouldn't, particularly if you've got time. If you've got time to do the scanning yourself, scan them at the highest res you've got available to you, David.
My question to David is, how is he taking photos in the 1920s?
Oh, that's clear. He's
not 100. He's not 103 years old.
David right. told me about his extensive collection of old photos, and it's pretty amazing.
Yes,
from Navarre and places like that, near Sanarned.
Navarre. I never heard of Navarre. Oh, yes, I have.
Yes,
I have. Yeah. Wow. I've got the same. I've got the same scanner you have, and
yes,
it does take a little bit of tweaking to get them right, and like you said, getting the resolution right, and getting the plate down and getting it all lined up and stuff like that. But there is a really lovely satisfaction in scanning old slides or neg, because again, you just get that authentic feel that you don't necessarily get with digital. But it's just lovely to go back and look through memories or look through historic photos of different places, which would be one of the joys that you have. Like you said, you get to see all these different photos coming through, which are really cool. So I see it down here in Tassie as well. There's a lot of people that have lots of old film from, Queenstown over the West Coast from 1930 or Hobart, in the 20s or something like that. It just looks so cool. So yeah, I'm with you. If you got the time to do it, scan as high as you can, take the time to do it. I've found that when editing or restoring negs, once you get in a bit of a groove, you'll see that, like with sometimes how we should be shooting in digital, a lot of people shot the same in film. So you get a bit of a consistent feel coming through their photos where, contrast should be adjusted a bit, and this should be this and this should be that. So,
and I've got two words. I've got 2 words for David: neural filters in Photoshop.
Neural filters, right?
Absolutely incredible. What we're doing now with neural filters. They actually have a photo restoration button that you click on for neural in their neural filter range, and I'm using that quite a lot now. It's interesting because I'm I'm a professional business. I restore photos for people. I always raise people's eyebrows when I tell them how much I charge for it. People tend to think that Photoshop's free for some reason, and the work that I do should be like each. And it's like no. There's actually each negative. If I'm doing as I say, let's say, for example, a 36 exposure film. So I'm scanning all those negs. That is going to take me a good 45 minutes of editing.
Yeah.
And that's literally just a quick once over. If there's photos there that I'm just, really like, well, each frame might take me 15 minutes to clean up.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Anyway, if you would like some neg scanned, come see me.
Yeah. Get into it, folks. Send him a whole heap of stuff.
Do it.
But yeah, people, it does take time to do it, and people don't always realize that that things do take time when you're trying to scan things and fix things up. So if you have to pay an expert to do it, then that's just how it is. Hey, we had a horror story, didn't we?
We did. I don't know where it's gone, but we did. Oh no, you sent it to me on the.
What are you talking about, mate? It's on the running sheet.
Oh, of course, there it is. Photography horror story is one of my favorite segments. It doesn't appear enough.
No, we need some more stuff up. I said the F-bomb already, didn't I?
You did. Then that's your
quota.
Can't edit it. That is your quota for the show.
Right.
Stop it right now. This is a photo horror story, which is another segment.
Yeah, this is a beauty. Show. This is great, this one.
G'day, Cam and Brendan. Made it to episode 17. Thank you, Peter from South Australia. I made it to episode 17
83 episodes beyond.
As I continue to catch up on the excellent podcast. Don't know if you're still doing the horror story segment, but I've got one for you. Okay. In 2011, my wife and I toured Britain and Ireland with 48 others from Australia. We were the youngest couple by a fair bit. 6 days in, and we were meant to go to the Queen Mother's castle, but it was occupied by Charles and Camilla. How dare they? So we went to a historic graveyard above the North Sea in the north of Scotland. Sounds awesome.
Sounds terrible. Yeah, sounds great.
I want to get a photo of the oil rigs in the North Sea with a few gravestones as a foreground. Sure. I took a step on what I thought was a row of grass, but it was a wire fence. I went over and punctured my right arm and cut my left arm. Ouch.
Yep. Sounds like a good trip.
After being assisted back to the coach, they called an ambulance, and whilst we waited, a Land Rover pulled up and two blokes got out.
I loved this bit.
Yeah, wrapped my arm and gave me some oxygen, as apparently I was quite pale. Then they went on their way. The ambulance drivers were wary about some random person distributing oxygen and radioed ahead to warn the hospital, as they were not fully sure it was oxygen. I ended up cutting an artery in 2 places and having 13 external and 3 internal stitches. Jesus Christ. The blokes that helped turned out to be Charles and Camilla's bodyguards. We rejoined the tour that evening, and sadly, I did not get the photo, but did win a bottle of champagne for the best story. Hope that isn't for too long for you. Thank you, Peter Hennis from South Australia. Give it up for Pete. That's
a damn bloody big horror story.
That is dedication to the cause right there, Pete.
Take all the oxygen away and the potentially fake oxygen and the bodyguard. The fact that he rejoined the tour that evening, that's impressive. I've cut 2 arteries, but I'm not missing a day of this tour.
No, that's right, exactly. And a bottle of champagne, which I'm sure they would have eased the cork out of that evening. Oh
yes, that's a great horror. We want to hear more horror stories. It doesn't have to be anything as dramatic as that, but we all do stupid shit.
Would you like an update on where my 8-25 lens is at the moment?
Where is it?
Speaking of horror stories,
it's still getting repaired.
It's sitting bubble wrapped and in a box and still not sent to Olympus. Anyway, I broke my lens last week, people, for those of you who listen along to the show. Beer donations. So these are not the ones that have happened tonight, but these are beer donations that have happened during the week. Mel H, thank you, Mel. Marion H, thank you, Marion. Cheryl D, Jenny C, Sean M, Peter L, and Andrew T. I don't know whether we gave you guys a shout out already. This sounds like a telethon all of a sudden, but thank you.
Do you want to do another shout out and see if anyone else wants to donate a beer in the next 10 minutes?
So if anyone wants to donate a beer in the next 10 minutes, you can head to dsps.com.au and you will get a shout out.
I'm almost empty.
And I know I'm prone to the plugging of the workshops, but if you join one of our workshops in the next 10 minutes, I will give you a 20 by 30 inch canvas print of your choice. So there's a little plug for you. If you're considering joining one of our workshops, now's the time to do it, folks. We've got single day workshops on the Bellarine coming up in January. We have got...
hang on. Let me get onto the dsps.com.au website and hope that it's updated. So we...
dates.
and actually have them in order on there. So we have 18th of January. We have a few spots left for our Down South Photo Show workshop down your neck of the woods. Right. $195 for a full day joined by us 2 idiots.
That's a bargain.
It is a bargain, especially if you're going to give them a free 20 by 30
inch print of their choice. Absolutely.
What's that retail for?
About the same.
You're kicking yourself now, aren't you?
Let's see if anyone does it. Yeah.
Anyway.
And if you've already joined it, I'm sorry. I don't give these things away willy-nilly, but I'm excited. It's episode 100.
Is it everyone that gets one, or is it just...
whoever joins in the next 10 minutes?
So you got to book it in the next... No, let's give them until 10:30 tonight. Because they've got to get off.
10:30. Okay, fine.
10:30. Let's give them to the end. I want to waste as much money as yours as we can. And then the next day, January 19th, we had 3 spots available for the same repeat workshop. And then we also then have the Great Ocean Road workshop, which is May 26th to May 30th. We have about 4 places left on that. That's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to that.
I'm pumped for that. Yeah, that's going to be huge.
That's really good. And October 15th to 19th next year, it's still a long way away. 2024, we have the Murray Mallee workshop. So it's the same one we ran this year. I'm pretty confident that they'll all book out. We do have a Tarkine and Cradle Mountain workshop in April, but that is also sold out. But if you get online between now and 10:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Standards Time and book any of those workshops, Brendan's going to give you a free 20 by 30 inch canvas. Did you think this through?
Of your choice.
Of your choice.
An image of your choice.
Yeah. And he'll get that done. And will you send it out for free, or they have to pay for postage?
I'll get it done in the next 10 years. No, I'm joking. We'll do it for you. That's just how I roll.
If you do it, we'll bring it to the workshop for you.
Sure. Sounds great.
Yeah, I've just saved you some postage. So hang on. I got to go over them again. January 18, January 19, 2 single day workshops. May 26th to 30th. And then we've got October 15th to 19th at Murray. Murray. I can't even say it. Murray
Melly.
Can we just call it Northwest Victoria?
Swan Hill.
Swan Hill.
Sea Lake.
Sea Lake. Sea Lake. There's a lake. Sea Lake.
We could do that, but we won't. Can I also? This is going to be a question without notice.
Excellent. That should be a segment.
I gave away a canvas print a couple of episodes ago to someone who won the monthly comp. That person is still yet to claim that prize. So if you have won the photo comp, it was the photo with the waves crashing over the seawall. A couple of months ago.
Black and white one.
Black and white photo, absolutely fantastic photo. But that person is yet to claim their prize. So although I have been in touch with them, they haven't got back to me. So
maybe they're still waiting. But that's a great photo.
It is a great photo. Okay. So head over to dsps.com.au. That is the Down South Photo Show website where you can jump on there. You can see links to old episodes there, which you can find on YouTube, or you can also find links to the actual podcast as well, where you can listen on your favorite podcast platform. Yeah, we've got them all covered: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, you name it. We've got them all sitting there for you.
And we are doing very well on the podcast chart still, which is great. We keep ranking up there, which is good.
Yes.
So
thank you to our avid listeners.
Although people do continue to point out to me that although we might be the highest rating Australian photography podcast, we're almost only one of three. We are currently sitting in the top 10 of podcasts
for visual arts in Australia.
Yeah. And everyone above them, bar one, is not Australian.
There you go.
So that's pretty cool. Art Wank. That's a good name for a podcast. Is above us.
Okay. I'm glad it's getting late in the night. And Cam, we've got 4 minutes to wrap this up. What have you got coming up towards the end of 2023? Can you believe it is the 20th of November?
Yes. You know what it is tomorrow?
What's that, mate?
My darling wife's birthday.
Happy birthday, Lisa.
And have I got her a present yet?
Of course you have.
Yeah. She's got me. I'll wrap myself up in a big bow. Small bow, maybe. What have I got coming up? I'm pretty quiet for the rest of the week, and then I'm off to Utah.
Awesome.
So I fly out of Tasmania on Saturday to Melbourne for a couple of days. And then 5-Star Dan and I are heading over to the United States of America for a quick 10, 12-day trip around Utah. Yep. We land on the 27th. We drive to Vegas, and then who knows what happens from there.
Well, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Stays in Vegas. And that will be the last trip of my 2023. Then I've got about 3 or 4 months off before any major workshops, which is
very good. That's exciting times for you. I like the sound of all that.
Based on the running sheet there, you're so looking forward to Christmas time, aren't you?
Yeah, we've already used our one swear word, Cameron. We can't use another one.
Go on, say it again. What does it say, Brendan?
We are heading into the throes of Christmas trade for me at Ocean Grove Camera and Photo. Lots of canvas prints to do. I've moved my entire canvas print setup from the very office that I'm sitting in right now to the shop. So my little office back here is getting quite empty now, which is great. This is going to become a little man cave, if you like. Can you still call them man caves in 2023?
That's a cave.
Someone will get upset if I call it a man cave. Sorry, I still call it a man cave. And yeah, we're rolling into retail big time. Normally what happens is I just work now until Christmas Eve. I fall in a heap for a day. I normally get sick, and then I'm okay. Then I watch the Boxing Day test and everything's fine. Pakistan this year, if you're wondering.
Well, that'll be a 3-day test.
Yeah, that might be a 1-dayer. I'm looking forward to. I know. Every year I bang on and say how much I hate retail.
You do carry on a bit about it, I must admit.
But geez, I make some coin. No, but I do enjoy it. It's good. It is a
not anymore. You're giving away 20 by 30 inch prints.
It's a frantic and frenetic time of year, to be in retail. We received our obligatory literal ton of frames during the week from Profile Products. So that was
Shout out to Vince. Is Vince still there?
Hey Vince, I'm sure. Yeah, no, Vince will still be there. He'll bring me my box of Furfies later on for Christmas. He does that every year. Yeah. So yeah, as I say, in the throes of retail, if you want to be like, excuse me while I scroll up. If you want to be like Stephen, who ordered a canvas print today through me, by all means do it. We did it by email, didn't we, Steve? It was awesome. It was absolutely seamless. He hasn't seen the canvas print yet, but I've got his money. Thanks, Steve.
Hey, can I make a suggestion for those who do visit Brendan in his shop?
cameraandphoto.com.au.
Make sure you go in there around about sort of lunchtime and just have a yarn. Go in and see Brendan and just have a yarn.
Time in the world. Exactly.
Have an hour and a half yarn with him and just watch his veins get bigger and pop out of his head while he's watching all the orders go behind. And that's funny. Retail sucks, mate. Get out of it.
Ash Hughes loves when I make canvas prints for him, don't you, Ash? Yeah. Anyway, it is what it is. Ash Hughes did a couple of massive canvases, and I got to deliver them to a place in Geelong this week, and they look amazing on the walls at this place in Geelong. So
he's selling work and traveling around Australia. What a life!
I know, it's pretty tough, isn't it?
Showed his life
and more. Thanks, Cam and Brendan and viewers. Another great show. Roll on the next 100 shows. Couldn't have put it better myself, Cam. It's 10 o'clock. You know what that means?
Time to get to bed.
Thank you for tuning in. Cam, thanks for 100 episodes again.
Thanks, mate. That's been a pleasure. Let's do another 100.
We're going to put an episode out this week.
This is the episode, isn't it?
Other than this one?
Well, are we going to put this out as a podcast?
Yes, we will, but we're also going to put out episode 101 before you go to Utah.
I thought, can't we do one in Utah?
And we'll do one in Utah as well.
What? Hang on. I know we're going a tad over time, but
I'm going to get up at bullshit o'clock.
Yeah, you are. That's what I'm thinking.
I know. I could see that coming.
Let's do an 8 o'clock recording, shall we?
Which means
it would be 2 a.m. in the morning for me over there.
Okay,
not happening.
No,
there's 7. What's that? I don't know what that works out to be.
I think it's actually one of those weird ones where it's 16 hours difference. So it's actually 8 hours minus a day. So it's weird. Yeah.
So I'd have to do it lunchtime or something. Maybe
we'll work it out, Cam. I'm sure we'll work it out. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see how we go. Again, thank you to all our avid listeners. Thanks for all the beer donations. Thanks for joining us on a bloody workshop or a tour or whatever. It's been brilliant. Thanks for the 100 episodes. We will see you guys for episode 101 of the Down South Photo Show next week. I think that's it.
Oh, hang on. I got to stop this, don't I?
You're hosting. That's right. So,
so I press the end button, do I?
You do. Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye.
How awkward can I make this if we just hang on and wave? Yeah, you go. So anyway, how much of a pain in the ass was that doing it live? All right, I'm going to press end.